Hello. Okay, so this time I'm gonna do it off a replay of one of my games, because I just played a game. I think it went okay. Actually, I think I almost just closed it. I think it went pretty well. We're gonna see if playing from a replay helps with the like FPS and stuff. Hopefully it does. Um, so this one I'm gonna just press play. We're paused a bit because Jakira's AFK. So first about the draft, I'm playing Mirana this game. The Jakiro actually picked Mirana first pick because he thought he was 4 and then realized he was actually 5, so he offered to trade, which I thought was pretty cool. Because I thought I was just going to be playing with Mirana 5. So I asked who he wanted. He said Dazzler Jakiro. I picked Jakiro for him because I don't want to be Mirana if no one else on my team has like no stuns, nothing to set me up. So Jakiro has a stun and dual breath slows, so that helps set up arrows if no one else picks anything. Whereas Dazzle, he's a good 5 too, but like he has a slow, but it's not as good as having a stun. So I much prefer having a Jakiro on my team. So that's about it for the draft. Like my hero was picked first, so it was nothing about counter picking or anything like that. I do think it's pretty good against CM5. Here, I'm going to pause real quick to finish talking about this. I do think it's good against Crystal Maiden because Crystal Maiden's pretty squishy. Even if you're just trading right clicks, that works out. And if you factor in spells, that works out pretty well. Plus, something is in my eye. Plus, Crystal Maiden's ult makes her stay still, so it's easy to land your arrow if she's standing by herself, which, sometimes it works out for your favor, sometimes not. But generally, it's nice having a target that's squishy and stands still for you. Spectre's kind of a pain because when she ults, she brings up a bunch of illusions that are very tanky later in the game, so your arrows have a hard time hitting. In terms of the other guys, Lena, you don't feel too bad against Lena because she doesn't have a controlled stun unless she buys a Yule's. So if you have a leap, you can usually get out of stuff. That is a good thing about Crystal Maiden against Mirana. Your Frostbite prevents you from leaping for a bit. Spectre, again, what I just said, you're not the best against her. For that reason, though, I am buying, so switching to itemization a little bit, I am buying an urn, as you can see. The Ring of Basilius got removed from Side Shop, and I think just Tangos plus a Basilius wouldn't be very good. So in this case, I decided to go with 6 Tangos because trading with Spectre damages you a bit, and again, I just think high regen's good in general. Buying a Circlet because it'll build into the urn. And I want a fast urn to start getting charges because Mirana has a lot of kill potential early. 2 branches. Branches are nice. I figured I can build a wand, and they give you some nice early stats because I want to be stronger than this Crystal Maiden. And combined with the Circlet, I'm at +4 stats. That's pretty strong. God of Ward. Sometimes you have to, sometimes you don't. In this case, I did. Bought 1 Clarity. If I didn't have to buy this ward, I probably would buy a Fairy Fire to get 2 more damage, and all of my items that would give me +6, which is quite nice. And the Fairy Fire is a bit more regen if I need it. These guys will kill me from kind of like a burst, so having that Fairy Fire heal could help me survive. And the Clarity is just because really the only spell you'll use early is Arrow, which isn't too bad on your mana pool, especially because it's usually spaced out. And the Clarity will help you, if you jungle a bit, roam while you're looking for kills. Okay, so now we're going. Oh, and the rest of the draft, he's okay. Sand King can be hard to hit because of Burrow Strike and being invis. But when he channels his ult, he does stand still. That can help you. I think I do hit him once during that in this game. Don't remember. Place the ward here because I want to see when she pulls, because I'm pretty sure I can fight her when she pulls. See if I can try to land an arrow on her, like if she's standing still just trying to last hit or something, and then possibly get a kill off of that. Or just see her trying to go to pull, and I'm a fairly fast hero. Now, I guess I'm not that fast, actually. With Leap, you're kind of fast, because you can cover more distance. And I'm faster than Crystal Maiden, at least. So if I see her running over to pull, I can go contest. So I positioned here to fire the arrow, because if we look... Oh, it's already on this right. So if we look from Spectre's perspective, suddenly there's an arrow that just hits her. So the reason for that is because when I was standing here, right, you travel through all these trees so she can't really see it, and suddenly by the time You know, especially depending where she's looking on her screen. Suddenly it just pops out here. She barely has time to react. So that's why I was kind of standing there. And you just have to be careful a bit. If you're standing here and you're off laner somewhere here, you just have to be careful that they don't have a fast hero that can quickly run here and grab your rune first. But these two are pretty slow heroes. She's the same movement speed. Crystal Maiden a lot slower. And so running from here, fire the arrow, immediately run down, which is what I did. It's usually okay. Just be careful that they don't notice that you're standing over there and someone goes and steals it. So we get some nice damage off on Spectre to start, which is always good if you can land a free arrow like that. You know, she's essentially at less than half health and the game's just begun. Come here to trade last hits with Crystal Maiden a bit, or not last hits, auto attacks. I have more damage, I think, barely, but I do have more health. If we look at what she bought, she only has 1 Iron Branch, whereas I have, where am I? I have all these, so I have a bit more health, a little bit more armor, so right clicks are good for me. And because she had to share her tangos, she has less tangos than I do, which is why I like to buy 2, because the supports usually have to give some away. At this level, the 5 almost always gives both of them. So my 6 tangos to her 4 tangos, if we just sat there and right-clicked, then I'd clearly come out ahead, especially because I have, you know, some extra health, extra armor, all that. So this was just, I saw she was low, I thought, I mean, it looked like she was going for some last hits. I thought, okay, I'll fire the arrow in between. Worked out for us. I wouldn't really bet on that in most games, but, you know, take any start you can get. I do realize I messed up there. So I started auto-attacking this one, even though I realized, I suddenly saw that this one was lower, which is why I stopped. But at this point it's too late, because as you'll see, she's going to throw, well, this is kind of bugged now. But yeah, she's going to throw and get both, which is, I should have just attacked one, making it low, so that if she did decide to queue for it, she wouldn't get it. Now this was bad on my part, because those creeps, I just pointed with my hand, those creeps walked in and I couldn't hit my arrow because they were all walking through, and we got the range creep denied because of that. I do this one preemptively. He may have gotten it, but after missing that last one, you know, I felt bad. I wanted to make sure I get it. Speed up a bit. I don't think I played the best lane. It could have gone a little better, I think. I feel like I was a little under leveled. I was trying to let Axe do a bit more. I think maybe I could have been a little closer on some stuff. So I'm looking to pull here. I'm assuming I hit the range creep. I fired it with the intention of hitting the range creep, even though I saw it was already low. Let's see. Ooh, I did get it. Okay, that's what I thought. I wasn't sure. So I won the pull because the creeps were pushing in, and then kind of they didn't. But I get this range creep, which is nice, and it would have been better if I'd actually denied it. In this case, now she gets experience, so it's like, it doesn't really matter that I pulled it. If I had denied it, that would have been a lot better. But I think the idea was right. I missed the pull a little bit. Sometimes those melee creeps just don't want to come along. She's low, so I'm kind of looking for an arrow. I heard her salve, and I decided, you know, I was looking for an arrow because she was low, and if she salves, then it defeats the point. So I figured, okay, let's blind arrow, see if I can either hit her with the arrow or get vision and cancel it. I run up to cancel it because, like I just said, I just don't want her to heal up too much. Let's see the pull here. I try to interrupt it, but I messed up the aggro, so now they don't want to follow me. So I'm just kind of sticking around, making sure she doesn't get solo XP, trying to get some of these last hits. I don't mind that I'm getting low because I'm not scared of her killing me, and I still have a lot of tangos. Try to connect this pull, this. So I feel good about doing a lot of pulls like this because Axe can tank creep waves perfectly fine. It's as if he's cutting, which I kind of would have preferred if he did cut, actually. But he wanted to be up here contesting Spectre, which I think is probably also pretty good. This way Spectre doesn't just free farm any creeps that walk in. But essentially, our goal in this lane, I should have said this earlier, every lane you have to decide how it's supposed to go. And in this case, Spectre, we are more interested in... Actually, in this case, it's kind of hard. A lot of times, when you have a hero like Axe, your priority is getting Axe a really good start. And so in this case, he could have just cut creeps and guaranteed himself. Here, we'll play it slow while I'm talking. He could have guaranteed himself a pretty good start, but this Crystal Maiden can't really do anything to prevent that. Lina can rotate in which case that might have been good for us, actually, because then bottom is a bit more free. But against a Spectre, that's someone you really want to shut down. So in this case, I actually think, having thought through it now more, I think Axe staying here to contest more directly is pretty good for us. Here I landed that arrow, so I knew I could get a kill if I just chased her a bit. There we go. This was a cute play. I don't think it would have worked because I still had some leap charges. Still could have chased, but our safe lane is not going that well. In fact, if we pick this up, which one do I want? Net worth. So yeah, Axe is doing really well, keeping Spectre down, but he's not doing that well either. Lina's a very strong 4-2. He's able to shut him out, I guess. I wasn't watching bottom lane to see how it went. Itemization, got boots because I want to be able to move around a lot. If I have a lot more movement speed than Crystal Maiden, I can auto-attack her a lot more freely, chip her down. Then we're going for the urn pretty quickly. I got the raindrops for mana regen. I kind of wish I'd bought a Clarity. This guy told me he wanted the rune, so I let him get that one. And I want to go for this one anyways.
Radiant's middle tower could use some help.
Get the risky one first and then walk down to ours safely. In terms of swapping this out, I think maybe I could have swapped the Tango out. I kind of like having the Tango in so that if I start getting into a fight, I can use it immediately. In this lane, I probably didn't need to do that, though. Because honestly, it's unlikely I'd die as long as I leap in this lane. I probably could have kept the Tango in. So when she did this, I knew they had a ward here. Is it showing on the mini-map? Yeah, you can see it's like right here. And I do get a sentry later. After she dodges it a second time like that. Like, that time, I was pretty sure that she saw me, but I thought maybe she just saw, like, the arrow last second and was, like, really preemptive or, like, had a feeling I was there. So I didn't necessarily buy the sentry right away. But it'll happen again later. Okay, this game is 45 minutes. And I know I already paused to talk a lot, so I'm going to try to speed things up a bit. So I'm going for the rune. In hindsight, I realized he tried to dodge it a bit. Do they have a rune? Do they have vision here? Or was that just from seeing the arrow come in? No, it's just from seeing the arrow. But I think that was the right idea anyways. Fire an arrow, try to prevent him from getting the rune. Place the ward here. I think I probably could have placed it a little further up, actually. I don't mind this spot, though, just to see when he's, like, going for the rune and if he comes back, and also see when he, like, comes up to jungle. But I think maybe placing it a little further up to be able to actually see him jungling would have let me set up an arrow a bit better. Now, I don't really have kill potential there because I'd already used my arrow to steal one of the large creeps from their camp, right? That's one of the weaknesses of Mirana and, like, heroes like Crystal Maiden who can kill creeps really easily. If you do it on your side, you take the big creep and then leave these little ones there, but it takes you too long to kill little creeps. So do it on the enemy side, and you don't have that problem. I think this might be where... Yeah, so I fired the arrow again, she dodges it again like that, and that time I knew for sure that... Like, she shouldn't have known I was there. So I knew there would be a... What's it called there? Didn't have my arrow up yet because I missed it. I kind of wish he would have just gone for the small camp because I wasn't confident we would kill her. And I think just getting the small camp plus these creeps would have been better in terms of gold and XP for us. It wasn't really a big deal, I guess, because now he has the creeps anyways. I think I could have stacked. I might have been able to. I come down to pick up the courier so it doesn't stick around too long, and because I wanted to clarity. Although at this point, I realized I already had a bit more mana than I had thought, so I didn't really need the clarity quite yet. Get it canceled too. So that clarity was a bit of a waste on my part. I should have just held it. Then he's hasted, and I'm trying not to give up a kill by using a lot of leaps. Me firing that arrow may have gotten me killed. Maybe I should have just kept running straight down, and I would have survived. But I thought maybe if I hit the arrow, maybe Tinker can rotate in and we get a kill. So I die there. And again, that's kind of the only way I die, right? Is if, like, these two aren't really going to kill me. They just don't have the damage for it. Unless I let myself get low. And him coming in is the only way it happens. So after I die, I come bottom because... just like that, see, he gets a kill on his own. So I was just about to say, Axe is fine on his own at this point. And I'm a little low, level 4 at this point. Taking a look, like, she's 6, she's 5, so I'm kind of low at this point, which is like a mistake on my part. It's because I like spent a bit of time roaming around, but I don't necessarily mind what I did, right? Because I stopped him from getting a rune that one time. I stole a creep here, which will later slow down him. Spectre had to shrine because she saw me and would have possibly died if she didn't use that shrine right there. And a solo shrine is sometimes okay, but ideally she would have liked to have some other teammates there to benefit from it. So I don't mind having forced that out from me moving around. So I could have been a little more effective, but I don't mind that I'm a bit underleveled, because really this isn't this huge game-changing ult like say Lena's ult. She wants it really early so she can burst someone down right away. Yes, getting this will help us gank someone, but so can a smoke, and it's essentially the same effect. So as long as I have arrow, I can set up kills, so I don't mind that I'm a little underleveled on Mirana. Ideally, you're not, but I don't feel too bad about it right now. And so just like that, we're able to get a kill. I saw him stun. I almost die here. These creeps happen to block me. I thought, oh, I'll fire this arrow to kill the catapult then. And it went through it. There's nothing too much to say about that. Right? They tried to tower dive because they didn't know I was there. That's why I didn't show immediately. Pop of clarity actually needed this time. Doesn't this look familiar? I'm still trying to stay in the back. You need to stay close enough to help, but far enough that you can actually land an arrow, which I missed this time. The ice path isn't that high level yet. I'm trying to stay on the edge to see if I can help and steal the kill. I wasn't really trying to steal the kill. I was just trying to make sure he doesn't get away. But I don't actually want to walk into Sandstorm, because if he stuns me in there, I would die. So I was trying to stay on the edge. Thankfully, get saved here. Barely get Tinker out. And you might be thinking, did I really do anything? You get a movement speed from this. You know, I think if I had an ult there, he wouldn't have walked to that corner fast enough. Maybe would have died. Who knows? Oh yeah, there we go. So she's ulting, land an easy hit. Easy double kill. Thanks to that rocket from Tinker doing most of the damage. Yeah, so this is the kind of shrine you want. When you have multiple people, and it's just more effective for everyone, rather than like a solo shrine. Sometimes that happens though. Taking a look if I can get this arrow. Decide that I'm gonna fire, make him think he's dodging, but really I was going for those creeps. I just wanted to like farm it up. Don't need to keep it at full mana, just kind of like use it. And again, I don't want to do it on my own side. I want to hit someone on their side. Easy setup there. Call into arrow. Good stuff. We are getting not an energy booster. I have it marked right now. I don't believe I get it yet. There we go. Cool. Why are we getting this? Have you ever played against Spectre? And when she gets super tanky and she's really irritating to kill, and she builds a heart, and you're like, Lord help us. Yeah, you don't want that to happen. She is a hero that warrants Spirit Vessel, even though she's not like Timbersaw, Huskar, like those kind of heroes, which you would think, oh, they have a lot of regen. But she's someone that just gets really tanky, and you just need as much damage as you can get and prevent as much regen as you can get because of dispersion. So that's why Spirit Vessel is very important in this game. That's also pretty good against Sand King. Sand King also gets pretty tanky. and no one else on my team will really get it. And that's kind of what you have to think about a lot. Like, some items you need in a game, but multiple people can get them. And so you need to pick the item that no one else can get on your team. Like, so who else would get it? None of the cores will get it. Jakiro could get it, but he's a support. He's pretty poor. Who knows when he'll finish it? I mean, he's a 5, is what I was trying to say. So who knows when he'll get it. Here we go, smoke. I don't know if that went too fast to see. His smoke broke here, so we knew someone was here. So he blinked in like that. Get the kill. So we're off to like a good start in terms of kills, but if you'll notice, like, he's farming very well, and Spectre's actually quite high up. Despite her rough starts, she has better farming mechanics than a Clink's off to a poor start. So around this time, you don't see it, but in our ally chat, Axe trying to get us to be a bit more active because he was worried, like, late game, we're not going to win this. To which I would say it's definitely possible. I would say as an initiator, Sand King feels a little better than Axe, because Axe Call can actually be dodged, because there is a time, whereas Burrow Strike is just about instant. As much time as it takes to blink and press Q. And then follow up like Lena Stun, all this stuff, like, it makes it very tough. And Spectre late game is just very scary. Clink's, though, is actually still pretty uncommonly played, I feel like. But I actually think his late game is pretty solid, and I actually do think we have, like, Tinker's one of those heroes that can just, like, hex burst someone down. So I am scared of going late. It makes me nervous, but I'm not thinking, like, it's a definite loss. So we still want to push it while Spectre's weak, and even though Clinks doesn't have a lot of items, he's just a hero that's relatively strong early. So we are trying to put it to be a bit more effective. Okay, this fight, I believe, doesn't go the best for us, so let's slow down to make sure we wash it all. Okay, see, here's what happened. This is why I was confused in the game. When I died, I was like, why was I here, actually? Because I was looking elsewhere, not at my hero, and I thought that I'd be able to walk through here after I leaped, turns out. Or maybe I didn't leap, maybe I was just trying to walk out. But I just, like, walked into my death, so that was dumb. I definitely thought I would walk the other way, and that's where I imagined my hero was, and then suddenly I was like, oh, I'm dead. I'm in the wrong spot. Lesson to learn there? I don't know. Just know where your hero is. I'm not sure what happened there in terms of pathing. I feel like I should have been able to walk through there. Now that I finished Spirit Vessel, sometimes I hold off on Spirit Vessel if I don't have any charges on my urn, because I want to get a few, because you get 2 on the urn and 1 on Spirit Vessel. But in this case, it's like we're doing well, so it's fine to finish it pretty quickly. And now I'm going to build the Arcanes first, but I'm also building into Greaves, which is why I'm finishing Arcanes at all. Because Jakiro has Arcanes, and, you know, usually 1 is enough for your team, but the reason I'm building it now is because if I build Mech first, that, like, destroys my mana pool. Mech is, like, 225, I think? This is really unfortunate timing. There we go. Where's Mech? Mech. Here. Yeah, 225. So looking at my mana pool, that's essentially half of it. So I just... There's a good chance I can't use a Mech in a team fight if I don't have Arcanes first. So that's why I'm building Arcanes now. And it's pretty common to build Arcanes on support Mirana. But say if I was going to build a Yules or an Atos, that would give me enough intelligence where I would say, okay, we have 1 Arcanes on this guy. I don't really need to build Arcanes right now. I would just go straight for it. But in this game, I want the Mech. I want Greaves in the end because, again, thinking about who on your team can build it. Axe is not a hero that builds Mech, and, you know, you're not going to get it from these cores. Jakiro can build it, but, again, he is the 5, and if we're not doing well, it's expected that he's going to be fairly poor. Plus, if you look at his items, I know that Jakiros want to build Yules to set up their stun, and I want that, right? That benefits me. If he can set up his stun, that sets up my stun. So I don't have to build Yules if he builds it. And personally, I get why people do it, but I really don't. I don't love building Yules on Mirana because the distance between Yulesing someone and then arrowing is actually kind of a short stun. It's a guaranteed stun, but it feels kind of short compared to, like, you know, 5 seconds if you land it full time. So having Jakiro be able to do it himself, and then I can be further back to land the follow-up arrow, I think that's a lot better. So I'm happy to let him build the Yules and build the team fight item myself, even if Greaves makes, like, even if that seems more common on Jakiro than it would on Mirana. But I think it's fine in this case for the reasons I just put out. And I do want a Greaves on this team because Spectre, why am I forgetting his name? Spectre, Shadow Fiend, Sand King, Crystal Maiden, Lena even, all of these guys put out a bunch of AoE damage. So I want that AoE heal, the team benefit. In hindsight, Pipe would be a little bit better, but Axe can build Pipe. Axe does not build Greaves, because Axe tends to build phase boots, and if you have phase boots, you don't usually build a second boots after that until it's like BOTs. So Axe can still get a Pipe, and so can Jakiro, and I mean, I can get one after too, but really Greaves are between the two of us, and Pipe is between the three of us. Yules is between the two of us. Actually, three of us. Axe can get Yules, but it's not always a Yules Axe game. So, like, thinking about all those items our team wants and who can get each one, that's why I'm getting Greaves. Alright, speed up a bit. So the plan is still try to push a bit, get kills like this. He barely survives, lucky for us. Speed forward a bit. Nothing happening. I positioned up here at first, but I realized that's bad, and like I walked back after that. Just because there's like, why am I here where I can be caught out, and my arrow won't travel a lot to land the stun. Even Axe is standing further back than me, and he's the one I want to follow up on. He's the most likely person who's going to set me up. So I realized that was out of position. I should be a bit back. And that's like a very minor thing, right? This is the kind of thing a lot of people struggle to notice. Even I myself, like, I just made that mistake, right? Where I'm standing up here and I should be further back. And that seems like a very big difference in terms of, or that seems like a very minor difference in, like, what's holding me back from improving. But actually, this is a very, like, this is a big difference of dying here and losing the ability to push versus landing a stud and killing and getting the push and possibly getting this tower. And obviously, it didn't matter in this case, but it can matter. And I don't know what I'm going with. Like, it's a minor thing that is actually bigger than is easily noticeable. I was just throwing out an arrow there because I had full mana. See if I could land a stun on him. Did they have vision of us there? Oh, he just saw it from like being there. Okay. Spirit Vessel him because I have enough charges to allow him to stay out to farm. Now, let me change that. I have enough charges right now where I feel comfortable to heal him up a bit so that he can stay out to farm more. If I only had like one earn charge, I probably would have kept it because I want to make sure that I have it for Spectre and other tanky fights. That death is unfortunate, but we realized they must have vision. I believe that's the case, right? No? How'd they see him? I don't know. I wasn't really watching. He thought they had vision. Oh, no, they do. Or no, did she just place that afterwards? Oh, I don't know. No, okay, they did have vision. I don't know. I didn't see it when I switched to their perspective. So in terms of priority kills right now, on our team, they want to kill Tinker the most. Because a lot of people hate Tinker, so they want to kill Tinker. But he's also doing the best on our team. And for us, we want to kill either Spectre or Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend because we know he's doing the best, and Spectre because we know she's the one who's going to carry late game. So we want to slow her down as much as possible. So we have like two targets that we're going for, and they have mainly the one, Tinker. And it's very hard to catch Tinker out unless you do like stuff like what they just did.
Not much good's happening to Radiant.
So she's actually quite tanky. Double bracer build. The health talent. So now I actually I would struggle to solo kill her with my current items, especially because I'm not going for damage items. I'm going for this is damage to tanky people, and she's not that tanky yet, so it doesn't really do that much. And now I'm building Greaves, which doesn't really give me damage. Where if I went more like a Atos, Even Atos doesn't give me enough damage. I would have to build like Maelstrom or something, which I think is super greedy on a 4 Mirana. Don't do that. If you're playing Mirana 4 and you build Maelstrom, I think it's wrong. Unless it's like way later. I don't like it.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures are
That's my separation. I didn't like Mirana 4 because people kept trying to play it as a carry in the 4 position, and then you just soak up a bunch of farm. Whereas you can play it as a support where you're landing a lot of arrows, even Atos Yules, like Grease, probably support items, you know? So I use my ult there, because even though we killed Chris the Maiden, they can still win a big fight. And especially when I saw him pop up behind us, it was a little scary. So I wanted to ult so that we can move a little faster, try to help Tinker get out, make sure that we're taking the fights we want to take as much as possible. We still want to push. Not necessarily because we're a lot stronger, and in fact, if you look at the money, we're actually behind, but because like the whole Spectre is on timer thing before she gets like super hard to handle. So that was his BKB reveal, and I thought it was going to be bad for us, but Tinker manages to get 2 kills. Or actually, I guess Klink's got one of them, but ended up being okay for us, considering that was his BKB reveal. But that was, at this point, we're still a little worried. Like, yeah, if you look at our towers, we're technically in the lead, and in terms of kills, we're in the lead, but you know, shows can be misleading. We're actually behind in gold, and against these guys, that's scary. So we keep trying to push the tempo. See, he's up. We're already ganking. This is the sickest bait ever. This is really funny. A little underhanded, maybe, but let's back a bit. So we were saying he just got BKB. This is in our team chat. He just got BKB. We wanted to kill him, and we saw him farming here. And then our Tinker is like, I'm gonna bait. And I thought he was just gonna farm. And then I look up and he's just sitting there AFK. And we're like, is this what you meant to bait? And he's like, yeah, it's gonna work. And I was just about to say someone pause as if he's AFK, and Axe was on it. We were like so ready for this. And look at these guys. They unpause and immediately go on him. Which I thought was hilarious. Like, we don't get a kill yet, but we got Haunt out, and we got him to rotate back top. And then, now that we're done laughing, we're like, okay, let's like actually go. Which, as you can see, it didn't actually work out, but it was a good morale booster for the team because we were all laughing, and we got Haunt out, which is actually like that's a big thing. And so we do try to actually fight here. We do get the kill. I would say it's partly from our bait, but at the same time, I think he could have just left and been fine. But I don't know. That was really funny. This feels like the turn of the game for us on our feeling. Getting that kill on Shadow Fiend again, even though he's got his BKB. I used Leap because I was a little scared that Sand King was going to follow-up stun me and set us up. Did I actually just miss Shadow King? Oh, he was invis. Because I saw him on the mini-map watching this replay, and I was like, was I blind? Did I just not see him? But he's invis. So they fortify. We're thinking about trying to push this all the way to high ground because of, like, this guy's dead, and they just use Glyph. But because I die here, that's our mistake. And this is actually very demonstrative. Remember that whole thing I was saying down here? The mistake of positioning here versus like here is actually a lot bigger than it realizes, or than it looks. It's like here, positioning up here instead of over here is the whole difference between us pushing this to high ground and us okay, quickly get this and let's get out. Me dying like this is a big difference. And the reason I was positioning up here was because we didn't have wards, and I wanted to see where they were to know, like, oh, they're coming, let's get out. Turns out they were just faster than me, and they were already set up, which I kind of should have known. Let me think real quick. I do think the right call probably would have been for me to be like somewhere up here, because it's 5v4. So I was worried that while we're grouped for this tower, they would set up, get a big blink strike ult or something, followed by like a combo LSA, her ult going on, and then the Spectre didn't have Haunt yet actually, but I guess in my mind I was worried about it. But that's a lot of AoE damage, right? And so they get a good setup. They can still win 4v5. Plus, maybe they could time it where he's just up and he comes in. And so that's what I was trying to spot. But in hindsight, like I just said, my death essentially leads to the same thing, where now it's 4v5 and now we're scared to keep going. And if I had just stayed up here... Can I stop their combo if they go on us? Not really. But maybe Axe should have been the one to run up here, because he's tankier than me. Or maybe it should have been the Jakiro. Or maybe... No, Jakiro did have a ward. I wish Jakiro had placed it up here earlier. But either way, I think that's a mistake on my part. And that's like a small positioning thing that now shifts our entire plan, right? We can't push as much as we want to. See, by the time we get it, like, he's almost up and I'm dead. It's like, okay, we can't really do this anymore. We can't push this to the high ground. Not that I think we would have taken high ground, but we could chip at it. And, like, that's important. Slowly getting that damage on the high ground. Against these guys, high ground is pretty tough. So any opportunity we have, we want to try to take. So here we see the mech coming up next. Gonna farm a bit in this downtime. We're not yet ready to group. Because everyone's scattered a bit, and I had full mana. I think I need to find more time to farm on my 4s. I think I play a very... Well, it varies, I don't know. I wasn't actually trying to hit Roshan. Legitimately, I wasn't trying to hit him because I don't want him to run out. I was trying to just see if they were doing it. Not that they're very good at doing it, but we hadn't seen any of them for a while. So I just threw out there. Trying to save this for Tinker. It's a little scary because we don't have vision. Yeah, he's so bold, I think, to stand here and do that, as opposed to like running around the edge and getting it or something. But it's fine. Works out. Tinker just makes better use of arcane runes than like anyone on our team. Jakira's probably okay. For his ult is probably okay. But I mean, just if you know Tinker, you know how much he uses his spells, the mana cost, all of that. So it's just really nice for him. I have one ward too. I want to come check up here. So we're looking to fight. And we realized no one's here, so our Jakiro made the call, can we all just run bottom right now? And so that's why we smoke, run bottom, see if we can bait out with Tinker defending if the whole team is down here. We saw the courier, so we know someone is here. Slow down a bit for this fight. Look how close this is. Scary stuff. So, we get that Spectre kill. It's very big for us. I was thinking about trying to get the Lina, but I was scared. I did not want to die. So we're going to get out. Gets this kill. So this is Tinker being online. So he went the Dagon build instead of, say, Ags or Scythe or something. And now he's going to get BKB. I won't talk too much about his itemization because I'm not like a huge Tinker player, and that's not really the point of these video guides usually. But I think if he had gotten Ags, like, we wouldn't be able to win these kind of fights. So I do like that Dagon. And switching to BKB is also pretty big because Spectre... wait, where'd she go? Yeah, Spectre's got the Radiance, got the Blade Mail. They have so many stuns, and Tinker needs to be able to freely do whatever. So I think one of us called for it. I don't remember who. I think maybe Kira said it. It's just be dead. Trying to use a leap there. Just cuz, right? What if I live? That would be good. But there's not much you can do there. Figured I would just try to survive. None of these guys have detection, unfortunately. Luckily, he chases out a bit further because they thought they could take this fight. I think Jakiro was saying they were dumb for being out there without detection, and then we win that, which I thought was funny. So at this point, yeah, you see he can just BKB. What am I looking at? Follow the Tinker. Oh, it's because I respawned. Should we go watch from Tinker's perspective? Let's do it. Like, Tinker can blink up here because he has the BKB. Granted, he almost dies, but, I mean, he's more of a Tinker player than I am, right? So he knows better what he can push it, hopefully. So I get the Buckler next. Originally, I was trying to save for a buyback, but because I also want to join in this, like, timing push, I am willing to buy the Buckler because I was still pretty close to buyback. I was just trying to fire the arrow at first, and then he actually went in. I was not expecting that. Yeah, so...
Thanks for playing Dota 2. Double kill.
This might come as a surprise, right? Because we just 4 died, and it looks like they really won that fight. But we were actually okay with this. Did you expect that? No. So why are we okay with that? We killed SF while his bots were down. So he's died several times in a row now. And his momentum is just really shot, essentially. Spectre bought back, so we're worried about her farming, but if she spends a bunch of gold on buying back, we now have this window of 7 minutes where... Is it 8 minutes now, actually? I don't even remember. 5k player here. We have a large period of time before she can actually buy back again, and her death at this point would be very bad for her. Plus, it's going to make future buybacks more expensive, so if this game does go late, it's just hurting her economy. Now, us dying, 3 of us dying, not so bad. Tinker dying, kind of a bigger deal. But he does have buyback, and he really shouldn't have died there. Even he was saying, like, that was just his stupid mistake. He shouldn't have died. So if he doesn't die there, like, this would be amazing for us. But him dying there, we still felt like, oh, this is fine. Like, Clinks go farm for a bit. Just don't die. When we're all up, we go get a kill. I mean, Jakiro was worried a bit. So, like, not all of us are, like, thinking the same. And I was a little like, 4 for 2 isn't my favorite, you know? I'd like it to go a bit better, but ever the optimist, you know? So, here we are. We still want to wait for Tinker because he's just a lot of our team fight, as you've noticed. Just a bunch of damage. Where am I? He's now taking over the top spot. See these 3 guys, like, they're just farming better than us. Clinks just is not a very good farmer. He doesn't get a good start, get a lot of hero kills. And that's just his weakness. That's just Clinks. But he's got the Ags, working on the BKB, so we're in a pretty good spot as we go late. So I'm not buying out the mech here because if you look at this, okay, now he has buyback, but at the time he didn't have buyback yet. Get another Shadow Fiend kill. So remember we were talking about, okay, he's died multiple times. It's killing his economy. Another death in a row. And so we want to try to push this. We didn't think he had buyback. Turns out he does. But even if he buys back, like, for the same reason as Spectre, making future buybacks more expensive, killing his momentum, like, a death is good. If he actually buys back, that'd be really good. Both their main cores would not have buyback. This guy came out. I don't know what he was thinking. But now we're feeling real good. We're like, okay, let's take some high ground. I should slow down a bit. We're missing what I'm doing. Me, the star. We're missing what I'm doing in these fights. Okay, so having learned my lesson, trying to stay further back, right? Axe goes for the call. So, sets up the arrow. I throw on Spirit Vessel. I'm gonna pop Buckler once it's up. So why am I willing to leap in? Because I want this Spectre kill. And I want to make her double Starstorm on her. Leap to get some auto attacks in. I can leap out again like this. Leap out again because I see him channeling Assault. But we get that Spectre kill. And remember what I was talking about? She bought back. So if we get that kill, it's a good window for us. Dead for 2 minutes. That is big. He was forced to buy back. Actually, I think he bought back just before... No, he bought back as we caught that Spectre call. And so he can't even do anything because he's just dead. So this is like very good for us. Even though these guys died, it's like, you know, got this buyback kill. And we have some timing to do all this. Okay, I gotta go see what this guy was doing here. What a guy. Tinker. Rearm blink out. What a hero. It's actually absurd. So in this downtime, we just want to chill, farm it up a bit. I buy the mech now because I have plenty of gold. Still going to try to save for some buyback. Let's close this for a bit. It's not really that important now. This is the power of Midas and a huge... This guy was super rich. He was doing really well. Like, even after all this, they're still in the gold lead. So that is how bad Clinks is at farming, how good Midas can be in certain games, and how, like, flash farmy these kind of heroes can be. And possibly a mistake on my part. Maybe I should have been farming a bit more to help out. Like, maybe that would have mattered more on our team net worth. Like, right now, I could be farming a bit more, maybe. But I was trying to get to bottom without using my TP necessarily, so that's why I was kind of just running through. They get a kill without me on the Sand King. If I recall, Jakiro was saying, someone will farm this, they're idiots. We got a Sand King kill, so... There's a lot of banter this game. It was a fun game. I liked my team. We're pushing this because Sand King's dead. We want to get this tower. We don't fully want to go high ground because we know that she's got Haunt. Well, we know because we can see in the replay. But for us, we're thinking, okay, it's still kind of hard to go high ground against these guys. Maybe let's go get Roshan first or something. Get another pick off. So, here we go. Arrow. We're now strong enough to do Rosh. Dragged creeps in. Not ideal. So at this point, we're thinking we kind of need to get out, actually. This is extremely risky because they know we're in here. Slow down a bit. This guy BKBs to get out. I'm just backed out because I can't do anything up close like this. I'm looking to possibly arrow this guy. Notice her, and I'm going to switch my focus because I know she's going to have trouble. This game is so loud in my ears right now. Just like this, actually. I know she's going to have trouble backing around because all these creeps are chasing her, and she's in the river. So I kind of know if she wants to back out by auto-pathing, she's going to walk directly this way and get really slowed down by all these creeps. Or she runs this way into us, so that's fine. And it's unlikely... A lot of people will not think, oh, I should actually be running this way down. in which case I actually think she should be in this game. But because of that, we see she's going to run in. Do I need to Spirit Vessel her? Probably not, but I got 9 charges, so just throwing it out there at this point. This fight worked out for us. This guy's got haste, so he's not afraid to just like run in after us. Didn't even get to land my arrow. This guy was so ballsy for this haste. He's gonna pay for it now, though. Shouldn't have been that ballsy. Almost paid off, though. I think he probably should have just been like cutting the wave instead of bothering us. Force us to run back and waste time from pushing. So he buys back. Almost dies here alone. Almost got him. Got the Greaves. I actually made a mistake. My mech was almost up when my Greaves were arriving. I was just too slow to do it. I was trying to stop the items delivering or lock it. I wanted to lock my items, lock the mech, so that the recipe's in my backpack, and then get into a fight, and then I wanted to use mech, then unlock it to reassemble into Guardian Greaves and refresh the duration, essentially. So essentially get a free heal off on my team, and then have Guardian Greaves. That's just some like minor efficiency stuff I was too slow to do. I think I said I don't have detection, and either he brought one, I think he brought one, yeah, but he also had some. You want multiple people to have detection though, in case like Jakiro dies and then we're just screwed. And I just hadn't had time to buy more detection yet because I forgot to buy it when I was getting my Greaves. And at this point, the game's kind of ending. I don't think there's too much to say at this point. You know, we're just kind of ahead. I think I was saying like no throw, please. Oh, now I'm saying no throw, please, because he just bought back. And there is actually a way we lose if he dies again. No buyback. Like, these guys are strong, you know? Sand King stuns, their stuns, Spectre as a hero. Shadow Fiend is not in the best spot right now, but he can output some damage. If he's got the stuns and he just sits there and ults on you or stacks up some right clicks, all that, like, we can chain feed to a loss. So even though it looks like we're really ahead, I'm still worried. Like, we committed Tinker buyback to this. I'm like a bit scared. But they're kind of feeding. So we're gonna be able to do this. I think I was saying, look, it's me, I'm on the other team. So even I was kind of goofing off a little bit. How do we actually throw a bit? This guy's got no mana. That's part of our problem. His BKB is low cooldown now, so he's gonna die here. So now I'm a little scared here, for reasons I said, right? He doesn't have buyback, 120 seconds. They have all these guys alive. They can win fights. So we just want to be safe, kind of back off a bit, is what I would say, but we were kind of like goofing around a little. Because we do have megas. As long as Tinker gets to respawn and then we like don't play dumb, we should win. Because these guys are not the best mega clearers. He's kind of okay at it. Even though they have a lot of AoE. What am I trying to say? Just because you have AoE does not mean you're a great mega team. Axe is pretty good against megas because he's so tanky. And he's got cleave. The more creeps are there, he can kill them. I don't know. It's not necessarily true. Having AoE does kind of make you good at megas. But it's like the megas will still kill like a Crystal Maiden and Alina. Heroes that are like really good at megas are people that like will not die to megas, like Medusa, who can clear them so fast, and she's very tanky. Here's like PL, who just spawns so many illusions, he's never actually taking damage while doing damage. Although I wouldn't say he's the best. And then just being tanky is not necessarily enough. Like having CK, he's tanky, but he's just slow at clearing it. So it's this mix of being able to clear them, but also like being able to do it solo without getting low and risk of dying. And that's kind of why I walked up and threw that arrow, because I was like, hey, they're kind of low. If I stun one of them, these mega creeps might kill them. But I don't want to play too dumb and stand out there. So I said, you know, lower that level of dumbness, and I said, I'm not moving until I get the shrine. But I was pretty confident they couldn't come out to get me. That's why I was willing to do something silly like that. And I don't care about just winning games. I want to laugh about some dumb stuff like this when I have fun teammates. So we buy a lot of stuff. I'm the lowest level on my team. I don't have an XP talent. Not playing the most efficiently, I should say. So I get the tome. Threatening to take this arcane from this Tinker right now. I'll buy another smoke because once we're all up, I just want to like smoke us in, get a pick off, and if we get a pick off, we'll probably win just right off of that. Buy more detection. In terms of other items, I was pretty rich, but I was like, I actually don't know what to buy right now. I want to have buyback, and I don't know what to buy for 1,800 gold. And I was pretty confident I didn't actually need to buy anything to win this game. Whips that, I didn't notice that in the game. Pick up the gem. Clink's late game is also kind of absurd in my book. Slow down a little. I'm just kind of backing up because, again, when they're BKB'd and there's all these illusions, I can't do that much. So I'm just trying to back up, wait for them to, wait for the illusions to die out, wait for the BKBs to go down. And we're winning the fight anyways, so speed up. Game's done. Take a look at the scoreboard real quick. What are we at? 57 minutes on a 45-minute game. That's probably my best replay time ever. Alright, so what do we got? Graphs. Weird. Oops. Well, it's all gone now. I guess because it's a replay. That's a shame. But not a huge deal. So, if I recall, the like probability predictor was like something like this a bit, then dropped, and then something like that. Or I guess it went like way up at the end. But it actually favored us at the start, which kind of surprised me. Usually it like loves Spectre. And I would imagine Spectre versus Tinker is like, I don't know, but I guess we had enough OP heroes like Mirana, Clinks that it thought we could do it. SF's not in the best spot. Player net worth, so we can see SF was doing pretty well. And I don't remember when we started like chain killing him, but I feel like it's somewhere between here. And you'll notice, like, see, it doesn't like his trajectory should have gone like this, but then he's like dying off here. And that's the result of those multiple deaths in a row. And even one death, like as you can see, like it plateaus. I'm pretty sure that's like a period where he's dead, and this is just passive gold. And that's why every death matters, right? So even just being between from here and here, right? That's like, let's say that's 1,000 gold. So dying too much, big loss of momentum. Where's Sand King? What the heck did he do here? What did he get actually? Why was that such a big jump? I wonder if he got like several kills there or something. I wasn't paying enough attention on the in the replay. Let's take out some damage dealt. Yeah, I didn't do too much damage this game, but that's not really my job. My job is kind of like the follow-up stun, set up some ult, win the lane a bit. I would say we did all that. Damage received. I received more damage than I thought. But looking at Axe having received the most, that makes sense. He is our frontliner. Didn't realize I killed these guys so much. I didn't even realize I had 8 kills, actually. Bought a decent amount of support stuff. I probably didn't need to buy as many wards as I did. Not that it's, like, wrong to do that. But, I think in a lot of other games, 4s wouldn't do that. 4 Miranas wouldn't do that. Sentries I don't mind buying because some of them were because I knew they had wards, and a lot of times it was because I want to make sure we have vision on Sand King, and I want multiple people to have it. Dust, you should buy that. Smoke, you should buy that. Wards, buying a couple is okay. 5 is probably a little on the high end of what 4s would usually buy. Depends what MMR you're playing, actually. High level, I would say the 5s tend to buy almost everything nowadays. But a lower level, you probably have to mix it up a bit more. You have more greedy 5 players, and 4 players need to adjust a little bit to that. You know, you're not allowed to just like play greedy and be a core. The reason I like 4 is because I think it's a role that you decide what you need to do to win in the game, and you try to fulfill that role. Whereas, you know, if you're the carry, you hit creeps in this lane, and that's what you do. Where the 4, you can be like, I think I need to be in the safe lane. I think I need to be in the mid lane, whatever. And realizing, hey, I need to buy wards is something you need to do at low levels too. Thinking, hey, I don't need to buy wards is maybe something I need to think about. But I feel like usually I don't. I don't know why I did it so much this game. Skill build, I think this is pretty normal. I don't know if it should have shifted after they nerfed Mirana and nerfed Basilius. This leap change was pretty big. But you're not really a hero that does a bunch of right-click damage as a support, so I don't think it's like a big deal. In terms of talents, I think that's all pretty normal. Last talent, if I had actually hit 25, I think it's hard to say. On one hand, I want to say I would have gone the Mirana, the Invis cooldown, because then your team is almost always Invis, which is very nice. But having said that, I have a Clinks on my team, so they're already going to buy a lot of detection anyways. But I think it probably is still pretty good to get. The arrows feels a little goofy, but also really good, because in the late game, if you just can land like this random 5-second stun on someone, especially a core, it's just like so aggravating to play against. That's why I hate playing against Mirana. It's like you just land this one arrow and like, what do you do? 5 seconds, you're stunned. Like, you don't even see the arrow traveling most of the time, and then it suddenly pops over your high ground wall and hits you for 5 seconds, and then they just follow up and kill you. And so in that sense, that's why I think 3 arrows is kind of good, because you're just like tripling your chance of randomly stunning someone for a really long time and just winning the game off of that. But in that sense, so does having a really low invis cooldown. Just lets you gank a bunch with your team fairly safely, because late game is really hard to keep up enough sentries. That's a big change to the sentry. If you haven't noticed, it's a lot harder to play against invis heroes the later the game goes. And I think every team should have an invis hero, especially a mobile invis hero. So like Sand King, he's invis, but he doesn't move around invis. Unlike Ricky, Bounty Hunter, Clinks, Mirana. Well, Mirana when she ults, but I'm going to count that. Who else? Invoker to an extent. Is that everyone? Shadowblade builders. Throw all of them in. But essentially just forces you to like buy a bunch more sentries to put in all these different spots, and it's just really aggravating to run out of sentries. That's a little off topic, but throwing it in there anyways, I guess. Okay, I think that's it. Main lesson from this one: land your follow-up arrows and bait by pretending to be AFK. Now that's kind of joking though. Like, actual lesson from this game, I'm not fully sure, but I think the laning was decent. Could have gone a little better too. Like, I think I should be able to punish Crystal Maiden a little harder than I did. And I shouldn't, like, fall below her level. Where I made that mistake, I'm not fully sure. But I think it had to do with running around a bit, chasing that SF, chasing that Spectre a bit. Was it a worthwhile trade-off? At the time, I said yes. I'm going to say it was all right now. It worked out for us. But I don't know. Maybe just I'd have to think about it more, actually. I'm just going to say that. I know. I'll say that in terms of the main lesson, it's the itemization. Mirana is a hero that has like very free itemization, which is pretty cool about her. And so I think, it's arrogant to say myself, but the choice to build Soul Vessel or Spirit Vessel into Greaves, I think, was pretty good in terms of itemization for this game. Especially for what I said, recognizing what your team needs and who can build it. No one else can build these items, so I should build them because our team needs them. I'm going to say that's the main lesson from this. And with that, I will say thank you for watching. Goodbye.